When I got pneumonia, everything felt like it was slipping away. The fever burned through my skin, my throat ached, and every breath felt like glass scraping my lungs. I stayed curled under my blanket, barely able to move, while the world outside my window went on as usual. I didn't have the strength to cook or even stand long enough to make tea. So when I called Mom, hoping she'd bring me some homemade soup, I thought it was a simple request. After all, when I was a kid, she'd always say, "Soup fixes everything." I just wanted to feel that warmth again. But her voice over the phone wasn't what I expected. She sighed and said she was too busy. Too busy to make a simple pot of soup for her sick child. Then she added something that stung even more, "You're an adult now. Handle it yourself." The call ended, and I lay there, confused and hurt. I wasn't asking for luxury or help with bills. I just wanted soup from my mother. The woman who once sat by my bed when I caught colds, who used to blow on spoons of hot broth so I wouldn't burn my tongue. That woman felt gone. For the next few days, I barely ate. My savings were low from hospital co-pays, and I had to take unpaid leave from work. Everything felt heavy. My phone buzzed occasionally with group chats and notifications, but I ignored most of them. Then one morning, as I tried to pay for some medicine online, my card got declined. That didn't make sense. I checked my account. My stomach twisted when I saw the transactions, 5 airline tickets purchased under my name. 5, and they weren't cheap. I scrolled through the details, my pulse racing. The destination was a resort city. It hit me like ice water. Only Mom and Dad knew my card details. I had once used my card to buy something for Mom online, and she'd kept the information saved. At first, I thought maybe it was a mistake. Maybe someone hacked it. But when I texted Mom, her reply came too fast. "Oh, that. Don't make a big deal. We're taking a short family trip. We'll pay you back later." I stared at the message. My parents were going on a vacation, while I was lying sick at home, unable to afford soup or medication. I wanted to scream. I felt humiliated, angry, and betrayed all at once. I typed back, "You used my money without asking." Her response was cold. "You never use it anyway. It's not a big amount." That single message broke something inside me. For a long time, I sat there staring at the wall, coughing until tears came. All the moments I'd helped them, the times I'd sent money when Dad's business was slow or when Mom needed to pay her phone bill, they all flashed through my head. I had never questioned helping them before. But this time wasn't help. It was theft. I couldn't even get up to make soup, and they were planning a beach vacation with my money. I took a deep breath, opened the banking app, and hit dispute transaction. My hands were shaking, but I did it. The automated message said my claim was being processed, and a temporary hold was placed on the charges. For the first time in days, I felt like I could breathe, not from the pneumonia, but from finally standing up for myself. The next few hours were quiet, until my phone rang. It was Mom. I didn't answer. Then came text after text, calling me ungrateful, dramatic, and cruel. "We're your parents. You don't treat family like thieves." But wasn't that what they'd done to me? I turned my phone face down and closed my eyes. The next morning, someone knocked on my door. I thought it might be the landlord or maybe a delivery. When I opened it, I froze. Dad stood there. He looked tired, but not from travel, more like guilt was wearing him down. He held an envelope and a small grocery bag. Without saying much, he walked in. He placed the bag on the table. It smelled like chicken soup. Real, warm, homemade soup. My throat tightened as he pulled a chair and sat down. "Your mother went too far," he said quietly. "She shouldn't have done that. I didn't know until after you hit the dispute." He slid the envelope toward me. Inside was cash, probably enough to cover the tickets. "The refund will come, but I wanted to make this right." I didn't know what to say. The anger and love tangled together in my chest. He stayed for a while, telling me that he hadn't realized how much I'd been struggling, that Mom had thought it was fine because they'd always believed I was doing well financially. But that wasn't the point. The point was respect, trust, the kind that gets shattered with a single selfish act. When he left, I sat there in silence, sipping the soup. It tasted like forgiveness mixed with pain. The warmth spread through me, but it didn't erase what had happened. The dispute process wasn't easy. After I hit the dispute transaction button, I felt a strange mix of relief and anxiety. Relief, because I was finally doing something to protect myself. Anxiety, because I didn't know what would happen next. Would my parents argue with the bank? Would mom be furious? I wasn't sure if I was ready for the confrontation, but I knew I had to stand my ground. I spent the next few hours resting, trying to conserve my energy while the pneumonia continued to make my body ache. My phone buzzed repeatedly, and each time it was mom's name flashing on the screen, I ignored it. I didn't want to speak until I could think clearly. Then the knock came. I wasn't expecting visitors. I rarely had anyone come over. I dragged myself to the door, coughing lightly, and opened it slowly. My father stood there, holding himself differently than usual. His face was serious, not his usual joking, dismissive expression. "Hey," he said softly. "Can I come in?" I hesitated for a moment, then stepped aside. He entered quietly, carrying a paper envelope and a small bag. The air smelled faintly of herbs and chicken. "I thought you might be hungry," he said, setting the bag on the counter. "I made you some soup." I was shocked. After days of being ignored and left to fend for myself, here he was, showing up with care in his own way. I sat down heavily on the couch as he handed me the envelope. "I know what happened with the charges on your card," he began, his voice calm but firm. "Your mother shouldn't have done that. It was wrong." I stared at him, unsure how to respond. I had expected anger, guilt, excuses, maybe even denial, but here was a man admitting the mistake, taking responsibility, and trying to make amends. I opened the envelope to find cash, enough to cover the 5 airline tickets. The refund from the bank would eventually come, but this gesture told me he understood the gravity of what had happened. He stayed while I ate the soup, watching silently as I spooned the warm liquid into my mouth. Each bite felt comforting and grounding, a reminder that even in chaos, some things, like care and compassion, could still exist. He explained that mom had made the decision without telling him, thinking it would be fine. But he hadn't realized until he saw my dispute notification. "I know you're angry," he said, "and you have every right to be. I just wanted to come here, make sure you were okay, and show you that I see what she did." His words hit me harder than I expected. The soup warmed my stomach, but his honesty warmed something deeper inside. We talked for hours, in broken sentences between coughs and gasps. He didn't try to defend mom or diminish her actions. He simply acknowledged them, explained the misunderstanding from his perspective, and apologized for not protecting me sooner. He even suggested that I take a few days off work entirely to rest, something I hadn't allowed myself to do. For the first time in a long while, I felt seen, not just as a sick adult needing care, but as a person whose boundaries had been crossed. The evening grew quieter. My father lingered a bit, sharing small stories from his day, trying to bring normalcy into the room. He admitted that he had always assumed I could handle my finances and illness on my own, but that assumption didn't give mom the right to take my money without asking. Hearing him speak like that made me realize how complicated family dynamics can be. Parents can make selfish choices, even when they don't intend harm, and sometimes the people who should protect you the most fail in that moment. But that doesn't mean you stop standing up for yourself. Eventually, Dad left, leaving me alone in the quiet apartment. I sat back on the couch, spoon in hand, reflecting on the day. The soup, the envelope, the conversation, it all felt surreal. I had spent days feeling abandoned and powerless, but the simple act of disputing the charges and having Dad show up had shifted something inside me. I felt empowered, like I had reclaimed a piece of my life that was momentarily taken from me. I realized that family isn't just about blind loyalty or shared DNA, it's about respect, accountability, and sometimes, learning how to confront wrongdoing without burning bridges entirely. That night, I went to bed with the soup container still warm beside me, feeling a mixture of exhaustion, relief, and cautious hope. I thought about Mom and how she would react when she found out Dad had come to me. Likely there would be arguments, excuses, and perhaps more tension, but that wasn't my responsibility anymore. I had done my part, I had defended myself, sought justice for what was taken, and received an acknowledgement from someone who mattered. Over the next few days, I slowly recovered from pneumonia. Each day, I felt a little stronger physically, but also mentally. The incident with Mom and the tickets had left scars, but it had also taught me something invaluable. that standing up for yourself isn't just about money or fairness, it's about maintaining your dignity and boundaries even when it's difficult with people you love. And sometimes, when someone steps forward with honesty and care, it can begin to heal the wounds that were opened.